Your subconscious mind is running your life. The hidden program behind your habits, fears, and decisions. Welcome back. My name is Mark, aka Create Lifestyle. I help people break out of the matrix so that they can experience freedom, abundance, peace of mind, residual income while leaving a powerful legacy. I primarily am speaking to people over 50 years old. However, if you're under 50, this information can certainly help you glean some insight and perhaps shave decades off of your evolution and achievement of your goals. So understand that you are welcome if you're under 50 years old. So here we go. In lesson 1, I talked about life being a game and universal laws being the rules. Lesson 2, we explored the beliefs you may have inherited without consciously choosing them. Now today I'm going to go one level deeper. Today we're going to talk about the subconscious mind, the hidden program that influences how you think, react, behave, and make decisions. Now, what if many of the decisions you believe you are constantly making are actually being influenced by programs running beneath your awareness? So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand what the subconscious mind actually does, why repetition creates powerful mental patterns, and how experiences continue shaping your present behavior, and how awareness, repetition, and action can begin rewriting the program. Because once you understand what's running in the background, you can stop living on autopilot and start creating consciously. Understand, your mind, it has automatic systems. Think about everything your mind and body handle without your constant attention. You breathe without having to command your breath. Your heart beats without constantly directing it. You can drive a familiar route without thinking about something completely different. Think of how many times you got in your car and you just ended up at your destination. Perhaps you were talking on the phone and you ended up at your destination and you had no idea how you got there, what routes you took. That's your subconscious mind at work. Also, you can tie your shoes without explaining each movement to yourself. This is because your brain and your nervous system is designed to automate repeated processes. Automation is not the enemy. Without it, life will become exhausting. The problem begins when limiting beliefs, emotional reactions, and destructive habits also become automatic. How many times you said, I'm going to stop doing that or I'm going to quit that, but you don't. It's because these habits are automatic. Now, understand the subconscious stores patterns. Your subconscious mind is constantly learning from repetition, emotion, and experiences. Suppose you repeatedly heard, money is difficult to make, money doesn't grow on trees, people like us never get ahead, don't take risks, you're not good at speaking, be realistic. Those ideas may eventually begin to feel like facts, not because they're universally true, but because they become familiar. And as I always say, your subconscious mind is not necessarily trying to make you successful. It's trying to keep you familiar and safe. The human being has evolved over thousands and thousands of years, and in the early stages, our subconscious mind, its main job was to keep us safe and keep us alive. Understand that familiarity can feel safe even when it's limiting you. Now, repetition builds associations. Think about somebody who once had an embarrassing experience speaking in public. Many people laughed. Many people forgot what they wanted to say. Maybe they felt judged. Their subconscious may begin connecting public speaking with danger, embarrassment, or rejection. And in my early days of learning public speaking and learning marketing, I was working with a gentleman, and all of us were afraid to step in front of the room and deliver a presentation. And there was one gentleman who he got up the courage to go and present the information, and he just sweated profusely, like he was like a waterfall, like a water fountain. Sweat poured up from around his collar, down his face, under his arms. I've never seen anything like that. He was so terrified of public speaking. An interesting thing about that is shortly after that presentation, I never saw him again come to our classes and come into our mentorship that we were working with regarding public speaking. You know, that reaction, it didn't appear out of nowhere. He learned that somewhere through association. And this is also why habits can become difficult to break. The more often you repeat a thought, emotion, or behavior, the more familiar that pattern becomes. You are strengthening a pathway. You're strengthening this pathway. The more that you do it, the stronger it gets. Now understand that your subconscious mind, it responds to emotion and imagination. Have you ever watched a frightening movie consciously? You know the movie's not real. You know the person on the screen can't harm you, but your heart beats faster. Your muscles may tense up. You may feel fear. Your body is responding to the images and emotions as though they may be an immediate threat. This shows us something important. What you repeatedly imagine and emotionally rehearse can influence how your body and your mind responds. That's why constantly imagining failure can create hesitation. Constantly rehearsing rejection can create avoidance. Constantly focusing on scarcity can influence the decisions you make around money. Understand, it does not record everything perfectly. Your brain, it takes in far more information than you consciously notice. Some experiences are stored in your memory when you cannot immediately recall them. But memory is not a perfect video recording. Memories fade, change, combine, or are reconstructed. The important lesson is not that every detail is permanently recorded. The important lesson is that past experiences can continually influence you even when you're not constantly thinking about them. This reminds me of like advertising, how advertisers, they just constantly pound you with their products and their service, and you don't even realize it after a while. If you're seeing French fries, for instance, being advertised constantly, eventually you find yourself in the drive-thru ordering some French fries. Has that ever happened to you? So understand that your mental diet, it matters. Your subconscious, it learns through this repetition. Then you must become intentional about what you repeatedly consume. So what are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are you spending time with? What conversations are you participating in? What are you repeatedly telling yourself? And as I mentioned, this advertising understands repetition, and they just hit you and hit you and hit you. Social media platforms, they understand repetition as well. Political campaigns understand this. Successful brands understand this. The question is, are you using repetition to program your own future, or allowing everything around you to program it for you? Now, the subconscious and intuition. Your subconscious mind also plays a role in creativity and intuition. Sometimes an answer appears after you stop consciously forcing it. You may suddenly have an idea while walking, showering, driving, or waking from sleep. That insight may seem to appear from nowhere, but often your mind has been quietly connecting the information in the background. This is one reason silence, meditation, reflection, and time away from constant stimulation can be so valuable. A good friend of mine, he leaves his phone in his car frequently so that he's not constantly bombarded by notifications and stimulation. So that's valuable, to step away from all the stimulation from time to time. Now, understand, when you do this, you're going to give the deeper mind room to process. The mind-body connection. Your thoughts and emotional patterns can influence your body. Chronic stress, it affects your sleep, your tension, your digestion, your blood pressure, overall well-being. Positive expectations can also influence how people experience pain and symptoms, which is one reason the placebo effect is so fascinating. You know about the placebo effect, right? That's when they gave people who were sick, they gave one group medication, and then they gave another group just a sugar pill. And they tested the results. And the people who got the sugar pills, they thought that they were healed just like the ones who didn't. So it's more about your mind and how it controls things. Now understand how to begin rewriting a program. You cannot change a pattern you refuse to observe. So the first step is awareness. So the step one is to notice the pattern. What thoughts keep repeating? What situations keep triggering? What habits seem to happen automatically? Step two, identify the belief. What must I believe for this reaction to make sense? Do I believe I will be rejected? Do I believe I'm not capable? Do I believe money is scarce? Do I believe it's too late for me? Step three, question that belief. Is this always true? Where did I learn that? What evidence challenges it? Is it serving the person I am becoming? Step four, introduce a better program. Don't replace an old belief with something you cannot emotionally accept. Build a believable bridge. Instead of saying, hey, I am a trillionaire, say, I'm learning to create greater value, make wiser financial decisions, and build new sources of income. Instead of saying, I'm never afraid, try, I can feel the fear and still take the next responsible step. Step five, reinforce it through your actions. A new belief becomes stronger when your behavior supports it. Affirmations alone are rarely enough. Pair the words with repetition, emotion, visualization, evidence, and consistent action. Conscious thought plus action creates new experiences. One of my mentors, he always says that conscious thoughts times action equals manifestation. New experiences create new evidence. New evidence begins reshaping identity. So, for years, I believed that I needed to have everything figured out before I took action. I planned, I studied, I prepared, I read books. I did this over and over for a long time. But understand that preparation can become another form of procrastination. And that's what it was for me. Eventually, I realized that I was not simply being careful, but I programmed myself to believe that mistakes were dangerous. Once I saw the program, I could begin changing. I started learning that imperfect action creates feedback, feedback creates experiences, and experiences build the confidence. I believe that I inherited that belief that earning money meant working more hours, grinding. But today, I'm intensely learning about value creation, leverage, financial literacy, residual income. And I'm not pretending that the old program disappeared overnight. I'm replacing it through action and education. And this is why I call this mastering the matrix. And this is why I call it the matrix. The matrix is not only the system around you, it's a collection of automatic beliefs, rejections running within you. You may be trying to create a new future with old operating systems, but you consciously want abundance, while subconsciously believing money is dangerous. You see the conflict there? You may constantly want success while subconsciously fearing judgment. So those ideas clash. You may constantly want freedom while repeatedly choosing familiarity. Mastering the matrix means becoming aware of the conflict, then choosing which programs deserve to continue. In closing here, and to sum it all up, here's today's takeaway. Your subconscious mind is not your enemy. It's learning and patterning forming systems. It stores associations. It automates repeated behaviors. It influences emotional reactions. It helps process information beyond your immediate awareness. But it can also continue repeating outdated beliefs long after those beliefs have stopped serving you. Awareness interrupts the program. Repetition introduces a new pattern. Action provides new evidence. New evidence begins creating a new identity. You cannot constantly create a new life while unconsciously rehearsing the old one. And an old Bible scripture comes to mind saying something to the effect of, you can't pour old wine, or you can't pour new wines in old skins. So it's the same thing here. You cannot constantly create a new life while unconsciously rehearsing the old one. Your subconscious repeats what is familiar until your conscious actions give it something new to believe. So for the next 24 hours, observe one automatic pattern. Don't judge it. Do not immediately try to change it. Just notice it. Write it down. Write down what happened. What did I automatically think? What emotions flowed? What actions did I take? What belief may be underneath that reaction? What new response would serve the person I'm becoming? Observation creates the distance, creates the choice, and then choice is where the freedom begins. So if you're ready to examine not only your subconscious programming, but also the financial programming, many of us had heard it, I invite you to escape to and visit escapethematrixleverage.com. Inside this community, we're going to continue the conversations around financial literacy, leverage, value creation, community, and building residual income. Because mastering the matrix is not only about changing your thoughts, but it's about applying new principles to the way you live, earn, build, and create your future. If this lesson makes you think differently, like the video, subscribe, share with somebody that's living with old programming without realizing, and leave a comment below. What is one automatic belief or habit you're becoming more aware of? This answer may help someone else recognize their own patterns. Until the next time, like I always say, the only way out is in. Peace, one love, and control your destiny.